we can do that. We can do that. Collectively, we can help. Now, how can we help? Stop the craziness. These petroleum-based products, they store in the fat cells, folks. We'd say, oh, gee, I'm real thin, I've got it made. Wrong. The cells are in you. You're born with a certain number of fat cells in your body. And these petroleum-based products just store in there. Women, please hear me on this one. Women, you have more fat cells than men do. You have a greater capacity to store even more in you. Your mammary glands, your thighs. And yes, it does affect the reproductive system. You call me Unshikaya. You call me Grandma. I have one daughter who will never have children, ever. And my other one, yes, she gave me a grandson. One so premature and so ill. But he's here. He fought to live too. So many of our young women are having these problems. Do you ever wonder why? What are we doing to our women? What are we doing to our unborn? Think of these things. Ask yourself, what are we really doing? So, there's little fat cells, they store this stuff. And for you guys out there that feel, don't get too comfortable. The greatest number of fat cells that men and women share equally is the brain. 60% of the brain is made up of lipid cells, fat cells, and we're wondering why the whole world is going crazy. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Now, every time you pick up anything, that plastic shower curtain, I was so thrilled when CNN came out, I don't know, what, a few months ago and said, plastic shower curtains are dangerous. That's right, they are. My body told you that. Why? Along with all these other things, I was made 580,000 times more sensitive than the normal population. At that level of sensitivity, I could tell you everything. I could tell you what product affected the human body in which way, what were the target cells, how it impacted human health. I could also tell you what corned beef, milk, cheese, wheat, sugar, all those guys do. Boy, I learn a lot. And I want to thank myself. I asked for that. I prayed for it. You see, I'm a descendant of Kaya Morningstar. She did a long walk a long time ago. She walked from the west and she's expecting a little baby coming. Anyway, that long walk to the east. She didn't want to go to Washington, D.C. That's the government. She wanted to go to the big city of Baltimore. She thought that'd be a cool place to go because that's where the people are. She wanted to go to the people. She wanted to go to ask for help. You see, back then ago, her people were starving. She knew Sitting Bull very, very well, actually. And when she got to a little place called Texas, Maryland, which is just before you get to Baltimore, she said, this is where I'm going to stay. Good place for a Lone Star to be. Texas, Maryland. And that's where she set up. And a guy named David Price served as her translator. She only spoke Lakota. And he served as her translator, and he spoke to area congregations, civic organizations, always appealing to those wonderful people for help, for food to be sent back to the people. It was always her intention to return home, but she did not get home. She never returned home. The longer she stayed in work, the sicker she became, until eventually Kaya was reduced to sitting in a wooden wheelchair. I have only one picture of her today. She was very, very sick, very crippled, very diseased, ridden, and she blamed that on what she called the white man's food. So it has been imposed upon me ever since I was really little to find out what is it about this food that did this to our Kaya. And I needed to find out real quick because I must tell you our little Morningstar family in the East, our descendants, are like a microcosm of the greater indigenous story. Every single one of my mother's generation, every single one, as my mom, all her brothers, sisters, all that, all of her cousins, every single one of them are diabetic. Every single one of them that they battled all kinds of disorders, diseases that we didn't know what to do about. You see, I want you to know, on a happy note, in my generation, my brother, just one generation later, my brothers, my sisters, all my cousins, all those guys, we have 0% diabetes among us. What made that huge transition? I paid dearly for that information and I shared among the Morningstar family that I'm sharing among you. We eliminated certain foods from our diet and we discovered, voila. Now I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am, but I have a feeling I was probably one of the oldest ones out there in the Sundance field this year. I think I danced strong. I feel good. I worked at that. A few years back, I would have crawled out there. So we've made a huge difference in one generation within our family of Morningstars. And I'm asking all of you to make a difference in your life today and really get serious. We don't have time now. Get healthy. Now, how do we do all that? First of all, we throw out all that stuff from the shopping cart that has no value in our homes. None. We look for safer alternatives and don't go buy into that little thing about all the green stuff. They're taking advantage of you guys. I find out that vinegar and baking soda, for example, half a cup each in a gallon of water, makes a wonderful cleaning product. Clean everything with it. Knocks the mold count down too. I don't wash my windows. I have Bonami. I polish them with Bonami. And where I live in the mountains, and some of you guys have been out there, you know I live really out there. Really remote and have all the bugs that live there. They don't bother me too much, though. They know me there. Make friends with your environment. I live a very unique life today, and a good one. I live in a very remote little setting. I'm not saying that everybody should do that, but you can trim your life down, get rid of what is not worthy. Eliminate many, many things. Stop buying into that life. If it looks like it's got a bunch of ingredients on it that you can't pronounce, what are you doing with it? Get rid of it. And that goes for your food supply. Highly contaminated, by the way. And at that level of sensitivity, again, I could tell you the differences between what beef will do. You guys that are wandering around with all this back pain, chronic back pain, stop eating beef. You heard it. All right. That's a problem we've had for a long time. We have somebody that I'm not listening to you. A few of them say I'm not listening to you, but after, believe me, only about 4 or 5 days, it's a real quick turnaround. In 4 or 5 days, you start to feel better. It takes 4 days to clear any food from your system. So don't worry. You go through a little withdrawal, get over it.